All right, hello everyone. So I'm going to show you how to use Quicksync on with OBS um, on your Intel system. This is not going to obviously work for AMD because Quicksync is an Intel CPU feature. Um, and from my understanding, I don't think the CPU version supports AV1. I think because I was doing a little bit of digging, and Quicksync they do have AV1, but I think it's only for I think it's only for Intel Arc GPUs. For my I could be wrong about that because I was reading and it didn't exactly explain that very well. Um, so right now it pretty much I'm recording with H.265 instead of AV1, which is fine. I mean, H.265 has good quality. There's no question about it. Like it looks fine. AV1 pretty much gets better quality at a lower bit rate, which in turn lowers your file size. So H.265 can have the same quality. It's just you're going to have to use a higher bit rate to get similar quality compared to AV1. So yeah, and in this day and age, there's not really any reason to use H.264 unless you're like streaming on Twitch. Which, by the way, H2, I don't even know why Twitch is popular anymore. Like it is so outdated. Um, I mean, seriously, they've been using or I guess X264, H.264 since like 2010 or something, like forever. And they make so much money and they're owned by Amazon. I don't understand how they can't implement a new either H.265 or AV1 implementation. Like it just makes no sense to me. Um, you're getting get better quality streams at a lower bit rate. Like what's the bad? Where's the bad side except for the fact that you actually have to implement it? But regardless, anyways, so it's very simple. This is more of like an awareness thing. Like if you have an Intel system with an Intel CPU and you have like an AMD GPU and you don't want to use AMD encoding, um, or even like an NVIDIA GPU, because using NVENC on an NVIDIA GPU does actually eat some of your resources and can affect performance. A lot of people don't believe me or they don't think that's true. But the the NVENC encoder is actually built into the GPU die. It's not an actual separate chip. Like a lot of people think that it's a totally separate chip on the GPU. No, it is a part of the GPU die, and it does use GPU resources to work properly. Whereas Intel Quicksync uses the integrated GPU on your CPU. And Intel actually has very good, it is very good encoding on that little, G. So with this method, you actually are using a totally separate chip. Um, Now, I mean, I think that the GPU is integrated to the CPU, so it is like this on the same sort of silicon, but it is separated. It's not like it's part of the cores or something like that. So you're not really using any CPU resource. Like as you can see, it's using 1.3% of the CPU, whereas AOM AV1 would use like 10% of the CPU. So, and if you go into Task Manager, the way that you know that this is actually enabled is you scroll down to GPU Intel R UHD graphics 770, and you will see that it is right at around 50% to 40, just hovering right around 50% utilization. Um, and the UHD graphics 770 is actually they're pretty. I mean, for integrated graphics, they are pretty solid. Um, so yeah, this is how. If I was not recording right now, this would be sitting at 0%. Um, Now, I don't know exactly how this works because, from my understanding, you have to, um, with AMD, you have to plug in the motherboard in order to get the integrated GPU to work properly or record anything. Which is unfortunate because when you have a AMD CPU, you pretty much just like there's no real reason to have that integrated GPU aside from if your GPU dies or something and you just have to have a backup. So it is useful in that use case, but even then you can't really game. So it would be really nice to actually be able to utilize a piece of technology in your computer that otherwise just kind of sits there, right? Um, Now you can use this to stream, you can use this to record, you can use this to do whatever. So my presets on this are all right, go to output recording. Mine are target usage slow, so the slowest is best quality. I'll probably play around. I haven't really played around too much. The default was balanced, and I switched it to slow because I was like, okay, I can get a little bit better quality, and it probably won't break anything. So, and then I just left everything else on auto, except for bitrate. I switched to bitrate to 40,000 kilobytes per second, which should give you very good video quality, even at like 4K. There's not really a big reason to go much above that, and I'm using Quicksync HEVC, which doesn't use like any CPU resources, which is great, right? Like you can game this and that, and it's pretty much like NVENC, but probably better because it literally is on a totally separate GPU chip on the CPU. So, yeah, very convenient, very convenient. And you don't have to jump through hoops with like an XTX or like a 6900 XT using AMD's encoder, which is really not great. And this is actually this is great. Now I will say CPU encoding does have better quality overall. However, the performance cost versus something like this is there's just no comparison to actually just go with this, right? Go with this. If you're really worried about it, test it out, see if slower or slowest works fine. If it does, then there's no real reason to not use it, except for maybe heat. I don't really know how much heat this would actually output on the CPU, but we can take a look. I have hardware info open. Okay, so we're sitting at around 43 degrees C. So I'm maybe like 5 to 10 C higher. I don't know, maybe 6 to 7 C higher than I would normally be at idle. So really not. And we could open up a game real quick just to show in just a second. So obviously, what you want to do for this is you want to make sure you have your Intel chipset drivers installed and updated to the latest versions. And then you also want to go in OBS because this, for whatever reason, Quicksync didn't actually show up. And make sure your iGPU is enabled in BIOS. That is very important. You're going to want to, did I already say go to help and make sure, click on check for updates. So I click check for updates. No updates are currently available. So I'm good on that. If you have an update, definitely update it. But yeah, for whatever reason, Quicksync was not showing up when I first was using this, or at least maybe it was and I never saw it or never paid attention to it, but I don't think it did show up. So there was something. And also make sure your Windows is up to date. So within the last few days, I updated OBS, I applied the latest Windows update. Because I don't actually know exactly what made this show up, but I know that you have to have your chipset drivers installed, that's for sure. Make sure OBS is updated to the latest version, and make sure Windows is updated. So that should set you up for success. Now, if not, I recommend if it's still not showing up and you have a 4900K or the 3900K, I recommend looking up look up something like a Quicksync not showing up in OBS or something like that. And you should find something, because I'm sure that is an issue. Because like I said, I don't know exactly what caused mine to show up. But let's see, check your latest Intel graphics driver version in Device Manager. Okay, so that's for Intel Arc. Let's see. Because I'm using a 14900K, I'm not using an Intel Arc GPU. So let's show me the Quicksync option. So it looks like if Quicksync isn't showing up, make sure you update OBS to the latest version, because I feel like that's probably the biggest factor into getting Quicksync to properly be detected. So that is what I recommend you do. Hopefully, if that does work, you should have this option show up. Just select it, and you should be able to use it perfectly fine. And yeah, okay, like I said, we can open up a game real quick. Um, but what game? What game? Okay, well, I'll open up Subnautica 2 just because it loads pretty quick. GTA 5 kind of takes a while to get into the game. So this oh, fantastic. Okay. Well, I okay, so the reason why that happened is probably because I actually have I have my E cores overclocked to well, it doesn't show it right now, but they'll boost to 4 points. I was overclocking my CPU. Probably not the best move. Okay, so I guess we can maybe Power World, as long as Power World actually starts up. But as you can see, the game crashed. We're still recording, so hopefully everything's good. Okay, so let's go ahead and just join this. So yeah, that's the thing is Subnautica 2 is extremely sensitive to any sort of CPU instability. So if you're having problems, launch that game, check your CPU for sure. All right, so we're in Power World. Actually, feels like we're getting a really good performance right now. Let me open up Reba Tuner so we can, because I don't actually know what we're getting right now. Oh, fantastic. And so yeah, it pretty much feels like we're not recording or anything. Like it no. Okay, so we got Reba Tuner open. There we go. And that frame time graph is looking pretty decent. Pretty decent. I'm gonna die. Oh, fantastic. It doesn't even actually pause. Let's see, do I have any... Oh, I do have... Okay. How do I... Oh, there we go. Get out of here, boy. Man, I'm dead. But anyways, we kind of got the point across. Alright, well, let's see. Where did I even die? Okay, right here. So yeah, as you can see, great performance. It doesn't feel like we're really recording at all. And that's probably because the integrated GPU is totally separate from the actual CPU. So, yeah. Very good. Very good. Happy with it. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end this video and switch my E-core boost clock back to 4.5 instead of 4.6 or